Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Sorry about the technical difficulties this morning. That was very interesting. It erased my stream key. Long story short, it was difficult to get this thing going. But happy Easter Sunday. Excited to be here. Excited to have you guys here. Excited to go through everything with you. Lots doing. As you guys know, every day in the real estate market now is just a barrel of laughs and everybody with consistently differing opinions with what's going on and what's going to happen. So super excited to have you guys here. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if you guys can hear me okay, if everything's good. Mic looks good, camera looks good, stream looks good. That's one of the things I don't like about the streaming is that it doesn't give you a 100% thumbs up that you're actually actively streaming. It says that you're live, says that you can end the stream, but it doesn't say, hey, quality is good and everything's passing through. So give me a heads up if things are looking good and we'll jump in, or I'll have to post a note and we'll have to jump into a different stream because for some reason this isn't going. But Fernando Galvin, thank you, my dude. I appreciate you. Happy Easter. Thank you for doing that. I'm glad we're all good. All right, so let's jump in. Got lots of stuff to cover. For those of you who don't know, I am the lumberjack landlord, and I am the owner of 39 buildings and 115 units, rental units, ranging from studio up to 6-bedroom units. Yep, we've got some big ones. Yeah, happy to talk about all that stuff today. Like I said, big week, lots going on. Mike's on vacation next week. He'll still have content on his channel. I have an amazing segment that I was after this guy for a while, but he is an elite real estate agent, elite, big on YouTube. And he is not an investor. He is just elite real estate agent, which is really cool because I had the 5 or 6 questions that I get asked all the time. I get asked all the time, how do you pick a good real estate agent? How do you know that they're a good real estate agent? So I wanted to hear it from an elite guy, right? A guy who teaches people to be elite at real estate, at being an elite real estate broker. I wanted to hear it from him. So I kind of put him on the hot spot. I asked him a bunch of hard questions. And I think a lot of the answers will astonish you. They did me. I was like, I can't believe you just said that. In a good way, in some cases. In some cases, I was like, wow. I mean, nailed it. Not sure how much hate mail he's going to get, but yeah, it was a really good segment. Like I said, huge get for me to just try and get somebody of that caliber on the channel, which is what I'm always trying to do for you guys. I send out so many emails, guys, and so many pitches to try and get awesome guests for you guys, like Uneducated Economist, Brian Casella, obviously Mike Zuber. This other guy's name is Mark. That's why I said Mark, but I'm not going to disclose who it is yet, but it's going to be absolutely awesome. Awesome. It's an awesome interview. I think it was only about 25 minutes or so. And we actually agreed that we're going to do a couple segments, but if you're looking for understanding how to pick a great agent, what the things are to look for, how to properly interview them, guys, this is your opportunity of how you get deals and how you get people to give you non-MLS deals. MLS is great and MLS is good. And there's, a nice filter of deals coming into MLS, but why not be on a guy's list who would call you before it gets posted? No competition, or a couple people competition. And then you can figure out what the right number is and give them that number and see if you can get the deal locked in without having to do all this negotiation. So yeah, awesome opportunity. But yeah, that video will go this week. I did a couple with Dion too. I just wanted to save him for this week while Mike was out because I wasn't sure what his plan was for content. Wanted to make sure you guys had plenty of content to kind of get through over the course of the week. But Mike's been stockpiling content. He's been with his experts. He made sure that he did extra ones. So we'll still have content from Mike this week, but more to come. So super excited to be here. Easter Sunday. I won't go the full 3 hours today because we already did our Easter egg hunts. We already did all that fun stuff. But yeah, happy Easter to everybody and happy to go through stuff with you guys today. So jump in there with any questions. I will be rolling fast. Tom Kind, Mark Wahlberg. What Mark Wahlberg? It's not Mark Wahlberg. No, he's not an agent. Although he's got an $87.5 million home for sale. Holy Toledo. 87 point, like unbelievable. So yeah, unreal. But yeah, lots of fun stuff. This is my Diet Mountain Dew. This is the only kind of caffeine that I actually drink. I actually don't drink coffee. I don't drink coffee. I don't drink energy drinks. I don't drink any of that stuff. The only thing I'll drink is Diet Mountain Dew. And it's not the only thing I'll drink, but if I want some caffeine, it'll be this. Excitedly, quick update on Eliana. I know that Janet Santiago, I saw her name up there first. So I know she always asks, actually Tom Kind's name is up there first. Sorry, Tom. But good morning. Happy Easter to you. Eliana is home. She had her last overnight treatment for chemo. It was this weekend. And so she got home late last night. And so she was home today and feeling good, looking good. And so thankfully we're putting a close to the overnight chemo stays, which are either 3 or 5 days long at the hospital in Boston. And so now we just have like twice a week, just a 1 day. So it's a lot. It's a lot. On average, Ashley and the baby are gone 15 days out of the month. So I'm excited to have them not. It's good to have them, obviously, have them around the house. So Janet, good morning. Happy Easter to you as well. Better Home and Rental. Good morning, all. Janet Santiago, could you please tell us your thoughts about the real estate market, prices, crash, inflation? Inflation, yes. Prices, still strong in most markets. You might see some price reductions, but I haven't seen in my market. I can only talk about my market. Nothing meaningful. Nothing meaningful. Almost every house that sells is still breaking a record. We just had a 3-unit sell for, or excuse me, a 2-unit, 3-bed, 1-bath, 2-bed, 1-bath sell for $619. That's ridiculous. Those numbers don't work. They're absurd. So anyway, just generally about the market, it's hyper local. I think the news will become a self-fulfilling prophecy. But I think inventory is still going to be constrained. I think that your price per square foot for brand new versus for, nicely used and built 5 years ago, I think that new is going to have a super high premium on it and isn't worth it. That's just my opinion. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking at. But as we roll through, Janet, we'll certainly be talking more in depth about all that stuff. So Kenny A, good morning, everyone. Fernando Galvin, happy Easter. Kenny A, happy Easter. Fernando Galvin, all good. That was a sound check. Thank you. Rob, happy Bunny Day. Bunny's not the reason for the season, but yes, happy Easter. All-Nighter Hider. All-Nighter Hider. I like that name. That's pretty cool. You're new to the channel, or at least new to the chat. Love to have you here. Sorry, I forgot to put my phone on mute. Picture came up, says, Dion liked your post. It's not Dion in that picture. At least I hope not. Had some work done if it was on his vacation. Tom Kine, good. Awesome. Thank you, sir. JC Blast. In my market, the prices are still up and along with rates. Yep. Sellers don't want to lower. Yep. Prices much. Yep. I've seen days on market a little longer. Yeah. So that's usually what you'll see first. You'll start to see the really good stuff that's either priced right or perfect. Like it's got some sizzle to it, right? Those properties are still going to sell now. They're still going to sell fast, even with the rates being what they are. What you'll start to see is the stuff that's dated. You'll start to see that sit a little bit, days on market get longer, and then they'll eventually have to do a price adjustment. So that's exactly the behavior I would expect. Yep, exactly right. Like I said, in my market this week, 3 records were broken. The record for the highest priced 2-bedroom was set this week with a close, and that was under contract, I think 5 weeks ago. The highest duplex based on number of bedrooms that sold this week. And then there was one other one. Oh, price per square foot in the town that I live in. If I got that price per square foot on my house would be worth 3 times what I paid for it 2.5 years ago. That number was nuts. And that house did not have decent finishes, 3-car garage, but no pool, no, not a lot of land, actually set back off of a very busy road. My house is on the same street, but I'm a quarter of a mile off the road. So I can't hear the road. Brian, FYI, live chat option wasn't available to me through Facebook. I had to close Facebook and reopen my actual YouTube app. Oh, thanks, Brian, for letting me know. Yeah, we're going to change to a different streaming service soon. Yes. Janet Santiago, happy the baby is getting better. Blessings to her. Thank you very much. Yeah, she's doing great. Yeah. Tom Kind, Diet Mountain Dew's my favorite also. Yeah, like if I drink the Mountain Dew, holy Toledo. Yeah, that's just like fire. So yeah, so I just do the Diet Mountain Dew. Keep the sugar count down. Roldan Crest. Hey, good morning, Roldan. Thanks for the baby update. Absolutely. May she continues healing. I agree. So our big next most important date is we've got 4 more hospital dates between now and the end of the month. And she has, and then she has her scans, and her scans are what we wait to see to make sure that everything is still good what it is. Chris Miller. Morning, Matt. Hey, Chris Miller on a Sunday, on call today, listening on the road. Thanks, Chris. Glad you came to hang out. Mandy W, that is great news. Yes, Mandy, thank you. I appreciate it. It is great news. Chester Williams, happy Easter, Matt. Lumberjack family, appreciate that. And everyone, yep. Janelle Diaz, my favorite time of the week. Good morning, Matt, Chester. The regulars, everyone turning in this morning. Like button has already been hit. Thank you for the likes, folks. Obviously, we just want to put that out there because it's not me, it's the YouTube algorithm. We want more people hearing this stuff than hearing the crap that they hear on some of these other channels when it comes to housing crisis. I have no problem if you call something a crisis. You have to understand why we are there. You have to understand how we got there, and you have to understand how we get out. If you're sitting there calling crisis because you're using 2 data points, that's garbage. Any theory that I come up with is usually 7 to 9 data points, at least 7 to 9 data points. It's not 2 or 3, because 2 or 3 can tell pretty much any story. Samir Farho, good morning and happy Easter. Thank you, Sam. Appreciate that. Glad to be attending your live stream. Glad to have you. Sam's getting super educated, my friends. Better watch out if he's in your market. He is watching a ton of my content, ton of Orat's content, Dion's as well. Sam, you're killing it, man. I'm telling you, keep on sowing that seed, keep on getting that data inside like so many others. And I'm telling you, you guys are going to get to be really good and then great and then elite. And you will not believe what the market looks like when you're elite and the things that you can see. Absolutely awesome. I can't wait for you guys to get there and know that you will. Hopefully all the data that we provide helps shorten the time frame, because I know that Dion's got 10 years in. Mike and I both have over 20 years in, and learned a ton along the way. So yeah, lots of stuff. Charlie Bossy. Hey, Charlie, good morning. Charlie has probably some of the funniest posts on all of Facebook. Love them. They're fantastic. So take a look at those posts a lot. Mahid, good morning. Good morning, Mahid. Matt Motley, good morning. Sam, I am going back to see all of your live streams as usually they are at my church time. Yep. Today wife is driving, so I got some time. That's awesome. I know we are going to change away. So we have early church time. We have the option of multiple services or multiple experiences. And so because they are set the way they are, by 11:30, we're all done. So that's why I kind of picked this time, but I totally get it for others in other time zones. Yeah, I get it. I'm on the East Coast. So we're trying to pick a different time. I've gotten some feedback. Yeah, once the schedule changes with the baby, with her med care, then we'll potentially pick a better time. Mahid, my market, Houston, Katie, Houston. Okay, is worse than 2 months ago. Yep, I guess we'll take a bit of a little bit of time. Yep, till high interest rates do its work. Yeah, so Mahid, exactly what you're seeing, right? So in your market's a lot like mine. There is less inventory. Our market has 17 days of inventory. That's it, 17 days. And the stuff that's on market, that's in inventory, it's all got stories. Guys, I looked at this one deal. Holy Toledo. I looked at this one deal. Well, actually, let me get through a couple more. I'll get through a couple more. Let me get through the questions and I'll tell you about this deal because it was nuts. It left me speechless, made me angry, all these things. But yeah, Mahid, you're exactly right. That's happening in all the markets. I'll talk about that story shortly. What is your source method to find data on sales? Do you get information from a realtor or another method? Yes, I get it from everywhere. So yes, I'm usually tracking so I can see when stuff goes closed. I see when stuff goes under, so generally speaking, in my market, there's not a lot of inventory. If I've seen something and it goes under, I just kind of look, every single day I see what's been come on market, what's gone under contract, and then what's closed. And so then just kind of, for me, I can remember all that stuff because my market's not that big. My market's 30,000 people, 20,000 people, and 5,000 people. My markets aren't that big. So, and they're basically 3 towns right next to each other. So all total, it's only about 55,000 people. I know a lot of guys want to target much larger metros. Not interested, not for me. I like to be outside of the larger metros in smaller burbs. So to answer that question, yeah, it's usually just basically by watching. None of that is data provided me, but I can get that data anytime I want it if I went and asked. But for me, if I've seen a property, it went under contract, then I just wait to see. I wait to see what it closed for. That's what I watch. Julie Anderson. Hey, Julie, happy Easter to you. Roland, message retracted. That doesn't get to me like it does to Dion. Oh, and good morning, Dion. I saw you. Happy Zombie Day. I forgot to say that. Yeah. I forgot to say good morning. RE3 IRTH. That's a lot. If you like Reventure Consulting, make sure to check out I Allegedly. He talked about me on I Allegedly. I don't like Reventure Consulting. I think he's a windbag, but I get what you're saying. Like, if I like, yeah. So I Allegedly actually talked about me. If you look at one of the episodes, I'll tell you which episode it was too, but he actually talked about me for 5 or 10 minutes based on the Business Insider article. Guys, I tell you, all these guys that are walking the beaches, I'd love to know what they did with their money. Where's your money? Where's your money? What'd you do with it? If you believe that this crash is coming, are you in all gold? What are you in? I'd love to hear it. Love to hear your perspective. I've been a landlord since 2013, financially free as of 2021. Hey, congratulations. All right. Awesome. Good for you. I've been hearing since 2016 that the real estate market is going to crash any minute now. Exactly. Any minute now. Just wait. Listen, one of these guys is like, your house is going to go down 40%. I don't care. I don't care how much it's worth. I don't care. I don't care. I care about how much money it makes. Cash flow. I'm not selling stock. I'm not selling crypto. I'm not day trading. Long hold. I care about my rents. That's what I care about. RE3. So I'll say that from moving forward. RE3. You had 30-year fixed rate debt on your mortgages. How much are your rents up since 2016 versus your payment? How much more margin are you dealing with? The deals that I started with 10 and 12% margin are in the 30s now, the 30s and 40s% margin, because I had old debt I had 30-year fixed rate debt, and now the rents have just done nothing but climb. And I refinanced a lot of that stuff. So yeah, I love those guys. I mean, just honest to God with these guys. Let me scroll back up. You guys hit me with a bunch of questions at the same time. I love it. Yeah. So I allegedly, whatever. I'd like to know, excuse me, I'd like to know what that guy does with his money. Cause I watched it because somebody sent it to me and said, hey, he talked about you. And then he was like, is this guy crazy? Tell me what you guys think. Put it in the comments below. And it's like, yeah, I get it. That's the YouTube algorithm. But what does he believe? Again, there's a lot of people out there, and his channel blew up. It was the same thing with Reventure. They're both 150, 160,000 subs. And I don't know exactly what they do other than spin people's, pull people's cords like that little, you remember those little motorcycles that we had when we were kids, and you pull the little rip cord in there and then you rip the cord, then you set it down and it flies across the kitchen floor. That's all those guys are. They're the YouTube version of that. Yawn. Rolled and Crespo, in relation to avoid predatory lending, particularly when accessing equity. Yeah. What are other ways we can leverage equity on our rentals? So what I've done is I've only done cash out refis. I did have some HELOCs. I've closed all but one of them down. That was what, and now is probably not the time. I started that process a year ago. I did 2 pulls of over 7 figures. The first 7 figures is already reinvested. It bought about $4 million more worth of real estate. The second 7 figures is literally sitting there. I've done a couple transactions, but nothing that made a big dent in that. But yeah, right now you're going to be tough because the rate's going to be so high. It might throw off. It might create an alligator. Do not do that. Or the product is something that when recession does hit, they'll shut it down in a second, and then it'll max your credit utilization. So I don't know that there's a lot of ways that you're going to get dollars out of properties now, unless you do a refi, for what it's worth. Let's see. All-nighter hider. 17 days. It's got to be an 1/8 of normal. Yeah. So I did look at that. That's a great question. So that's about a 1/5 of normal. It's usually 70-ish days or so. 70, 80. Yeah, usually 70, 80. Yep. So 2.5 months, or a little over 2 months. Yeah. So it's about, 5. It's about a 1/5. Yep. RE3. What's up, Hyder? Good to see you on here. Good to have you two guys. I don't remember your guys' names here, so I'm super excited that you guys, are here. All Nighter Hider. Thanks for the shout out. Simon UE brought me here. Oh, very cool, man. Simon's dialed in, guys. Like, he's the man. Like, his stuff, he's not like this alarmist crash. He's just hitting you with data and putting pieces together. That's why I dig the dude. He's dialed in. But I think that, he recognizes that you also have to have a place to live, i.e. that's what, he bought a house 7-8 months ago. So smart guy. I love doing work with him, just because he is so sharp. And I'm not saying mortgage yourself to the hilt and get every dime in the market you possibly can. All my point ever is I do great deals. That's all I know how to do, is great deals. Those are the only kind I do. And so it just has to give me a return on that capital, and a great return on that capital. Guess what? I haven't written an offer in 7 weeks. That's the longest I haven't written an offer in 2 years. 7 weeks I haven't written an offer. So yeah, it's shifting. Samer Farho. Do you accept pets, particularly cats and big dogs? If so, what do you do to their damage after the tenant leaves, and what is average cost to return property back? Greatly ranges, depends on the property that I'll do pets, because some properties are good for pets and some properties it's like 130-year-old antique floors. I'm not putting a big dog in there. I'm not putting anything in there, because even a cat can mess it up. I don't particularly like pets. Some I will do. Again, depends on which unit of mine it is, because all of my units are not created equal. The goal is that they will be someday. But I'd say kind of 75% of them fit in one bucket of nice and done and finished, and redone. And then another, I would guess the rest of percentage is really just kind of dated. It's dated and they're not brand new. I haven't done kitchens and things like that. Most cases we're doing floors and paint and just making sure everything works, and is in decent quality. If you guys are new here, please ask questions. That's what I'm here for, you guys. This is for you. It's not for me. I'm here to help. There's nothing in this for me except for spending some time with some other real estate folks, and hopefully you get some value out of my experiences. And that's all the value I'm looking for out of this. So Samer, I've had it as easy as a normal flip of a property. I've had it as difficult as 10 grand worth of damage. Yep. 10 grand worth of damage. That was cats. It was cats in a 130-year-old home. They ruined the entire third floor of antique wood floors. And so it was just a ton of money, really expensive, very painful. Yep. It was brutal. Janelle, my market has not slowed down at all. Yep. Of course, the yield is lower now that rates have spiked. Yep. Average yield about 2%. Yes. Do you recommend still going for good to great deals around 5 to 7 or holding dry powder? So I can only tell you what I'm doing. I won't do a deal for 7%. Mine has to be double digits based on what my market is right now. Even these ones that just sold, I looked at a deal. So I'll talk about this one. I looked at a deal that was a massive deal. It was an 8 unit. When it was all said and done, the return on capital was 1.75%. And that was with it fully rented. Like, I said to my agent to tell that agent, I said, listen, you need to learn how to do math. No one is buying that property at that. That's why it's now been on the market. I've been tracking it. It's on the market now for 18 days. And they don't even have an offer. They don't even have the thought of an offer, because they're not going to get one, because they're morons. And they completely mispriced it. And in a crazy market like this, it still has to be backed up by the math. It just does. So I'm Matt the Lumberjack. We've been going at this for about a half an hour. Super excited to have you guys here today. Ask questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. There is no stupid question. There really isn't. I'll answer anything. What I recognize is you can be in here. This is the beginning. You could also be way over here. My arm doesn't go any further back, and you could be expert. So I'll answer any question. I'll only give you the answer if I have experience doing it. But I've got 39 buildings, 115 units, and I've been doing this for a little over 20 years. So some would say I know a little bit about a little bit. Others would say that I've forgotten more than they'll ever know. I'm the one who says that. I tell that to agents sometimes when they're insisting that I'm wrong on something. Just like, awesome. And then I find out, and obviously I look when any agents listed something, and I find out that they list 4 or 5, they do 4 or 5 closings a year. I buy more than that. So I know a little bit more than they do, I think, about the market. All-nighter hider. Thanks, RE3. Cool. I'm really glad to have you guys here. I'm glad that had effect. I'm glad that you guys thought enough of that interview with Simon that it had effect to have you guys come over and hang out with us. Steve Dave, can't wait to share what you have helped me rent soon. Can't wait to share what you have helped me rent soon. Locked up a tenant, still 3 weeks from finishing renovation. We'll have full return of down payment in under 2 years. Steve Dave, that is awesome. Congratulations. I love that. That is a great story. I love it when deals look like that. Sarah Farho, I have a prospective tenant who said she meets all my rental qualification criteria except for the credit score because it was ruined after her divorce. She is married again now. To compensate for that, she is willing to pay rent in 6-month increments, so payments per year rather than 12. What do you think about that, and what would you do? I would just want to know more about what was ruined on her credit. And if it was her divorce that ruined it, because I would need to just know a little bit more. So I have taken people on that were lower credit scores. But I have done that. I've taken a 6-month payment up front, because that means, I mean, to be able to pay 6 months in advance, that shows that they're usually savers. It shows that they're prepared. It shows that they know that that they got the bad side raw end of a deal. So I don't hate that. I would just really try to understand and just say, listen, I don't mean to pry, but I really just would like to better understand when you say he ruined your credit. I'd like to really understand what that means, because if I can, I'd like to talk to my partner, but I need to kind of reconcile what that is, because I know the questions that I'm going to get. That's how I would structure it with them, because you are making an exception. You are making an exception. Chester Williams, twice in the past 8 months, my market went down to 1 day's worth of inventory. One. That's nuts. Yeah, that's nuts. That's nuts. It's crazy. RE3. If housing goes down 40% tomorrow, yep, we're at late 2020 prices. Yes. Yes. Even if you call it mid 2019s, but yes, when these fools were telling us that the US housing is extremely overvalued and don't buy anything. Yes, I've cashed out, refied several times out of my 3 Hawaii rentals. Good for you. 3 Hawaiis. Woo, that's awesome. And I have 0 equity in those properties, and they are cash flowing. One of them is cash flowing $1,500 a month. That's awesome. Yeah. So I'll call you Icarus for just this point. A little too close to the sun for me. The only reason is I don't like getting that close to the sun on no equity left. I like to have at least 25 to 30%. That way, if the market corrects 20 and for some reason I had to sell, I can still get out of them. I can still cover my fees, and I'm not writing a check. That's if I had to sell them for some reason. So yeah, it's just a little too close to the sun for me. But on the perk side, they're still cash flowing. That matters. That's what matters, right? Eric's like, happy Easter. Hey, Eric, happy Easter. I would love the couple videos again. My wife doesn't know what to do with me. LOL. 95K. I would love the couple videos again. Yeah. Yep. 95K all in cash in our first rental, but leveraged even at 6.5 will be a 36% yield. Mama instincts. Yeah. 36%, like, yeah, get that money out. Yeah, get that money. That's what I would do. That's what I've done. I got money out of my properties until they were about 70% loan to value. I have a handful of others that are much better than that. That through extenuating circumstances, I haven't refied. But one of them I'm actually selling. One of them is going to be on the market in like 3 weeks. I'll share that listing with you guys so you guys can see it. But yeah, it's right on the water. It's the perfect Airbnb. I just don't want to do Airbnb or VRBO. I think somebody can do that house and somebody can make an absolute fortune on that house. Yeah. Yep. Anna K. Good morning, Anna K. Yes. Pacific Standard Time. Yep. 9 a.m. Good morning. Ethan Wood. We're looking at a 30-year biweekly conventional mortgage. Get the rate lower and pays off in 25-ish years. Ever heard of a mortgage product like that? I have. Not recently though. They were doing those back in that sounds like it sounds like it's a smaller bank or a mortgage broker company that has kind of like not an off brand, but almost like an off brand company behind it doing that stuff. It doesn't sound like it's too exotic. I'd want to know more information about it, but yeah, for a vacation home. Yeah. So long as it's fixed, that's what matters. And so long as you're really comfortable making that payment, because you're basically, how they're doing it is you're basically getting a pay out of it's a calculation of how they calculate the interest. That's what actually reduces that and gives you that lower rate. That's how it works. So yeah, not familiar. I never did any, but I've heard of those products and they were around kind of late 2000s. Yeah. Middle 2000s is when those were around. Can you describe your driving for dollars process? From driving to you contact owners, and what's your message to them? Yeah, sure. I drive around, take a look. Sometimes I'll put a post-it note on their door. Sometimes it's not the same thing every time. Depends on if I have screaming kids in the back, because they actually drive for dollars with me. When mom and Eliana would be at the hospital, we would actually go driving together, and I would, if they were being good, I'd park in the driveway, pop out and put a post-it note on there. I'll also just put it kind of on a list. I have a list of probably 8 or 10 properties that I just, because my cities aren't that big. So I have a list of like 8 or 10 properties that I really like. And I just send them letters on the reg, like every 3 months. That's all. Yeah, that's it. Nothing more, templatized than that. It's, yeah, just nothing more templatized than that. Just really, I've come to the conclusion that the housing crash, fear mongering, is simply a form of tactical disinformation. Yep. Whose design is to dissuade people who are curious and interested about REI from getting started in investing in real estate. Think about how many more people would be financially free by taking action in the absence of those fear mongers. Yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, you can get somebody. It's just proof that more people are interested in fear and what could possibly happen in a negative sense than what they could possibly do. It takes nothing to be afraid. It takes nothing. Fear is the absence of faith, right? It's the absence of hope. I have hope. I have faith. So yeah, not to get all preachy on you, but yeah, I mean, it just, fear to me is the absence of hope, and it's the absence of faith. I believe that if you've done good business, handle yourself properly, have sufficient reserves, then I think that this storm is going to be just like the last one. The last one was far scarier for me because I was much more highly leveraged. This one, much less scary. To the point, like Dion said too, half of his renters can stop paying their rent, and he still doesn't pull a dime out of his pocket. That's awesome. That's hugely awesome. So yeah, so I like that. All-nighter hider, appreciate your channel. I'm going to be driving for about an hour or so no chat. Big thank you before I start. I appreciate that. Thanks for letting me know. I always like to, when I see something come up in there, I'm always like, did I say something that really offended them? If they made a rude comment, I don't care. If you didn't make a rude comment, then I do care. So yeah, here for you guys. I'm excited to always be here with you guys. Warren Lumberjack, happy Easter Sunday. Good to see you as well. Good to see you. What's the plan on live stream schedule? Still trying to figure it out. In all honesty, Han Solo. Just haven't figured out. It really comes down to, we're coming off of Eliana's treatment plan since Labor Day weekend. We've been on lockdown since Labor Day weekend. So September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So 8 months. So we've been on lockdown for 8 months. So when she comes off of schedule and she comes off of treatment schedule, we're then going to kind of just see what life is like. Because I have Sam, who's 4, and Bryn, who's going to be turning 3. And so, yeah, I just have to kind of, we have to kind of reconfigure life at that point. So that's the plan. Samara Farho. The requirement for a second home is that you live in it for a few days a year. So to be converted to a rental, isn't that an issue for the loan, as you won't live in it and meet original requirement? So no, if you are using a second home as a vacation home, you have a normal mortgage on it. From my understanding, I have a second home, or I had a second home. I used it, and then we never really used it. So we're like, this is a waste of time and money. Let's just rent it. So we rented out. We didn't change the mortgage. The only thing that we changed was the insurance. It's the only thing we changed. We didn't change the mortgage. So I don't believe that to be the case. I could have done it wrong. but I don't believe that to be the case. Tom Kine, are you, Mike, and Dion actually writing the offer, or do you have a realtor writing it? Varies in all cases. So Dion, I would believe, I don't know, but I would believe that he's doing it through his realtor. For me, I've presented the P&S myself on deals where I don't have a realtor because I try and cut out that cost. If I found the deal, I don't need to have the seller pay 3% to a broker. I can have everything reviewed by an attorney, and that cost me a few $100. So yeah, so I think with Mike, yes. If it's an off-market deal, I'm sure he tries to put it together. For me, off-market, I do mine. On-market, I use a broker. Unsold. All right, question for you. What's your biggest challenge in portfolio scaling? Is it market opportunities? Is it funding terms? Is it timing? So here's the crazy answer to that question. Yes, it's literally all those things. And it depends on where you are in your portfolio. Holy Toledo, you guys loaded me up. I love it. This gave me a ton of good questions. Holy cow. This is awesome. I'm going to have to do some rapid fire. So portfolio scaling. The toughest thing is taking care of 5 or 15, just making sure you have the right handyman, the right people to go do stuff. If for some reason you can't go to it, the big thing with that is that exactly. It is the toughest thing with scaling is from that perspective is making sure you have enough people. Depending on what the market is, it can be, funding, because banks want you to only grow so fast because they want you to season units. And timing, absolutely, it's timing. If I bought one in now I bought 2 in January, I bought 2 in February, and I'm closing on another one Monday, right? It's 5 deals this year. If that were 5 years ago, my bank would have been like, whoa, slow down. They're not seasoning fast enough. They've seen the model. They know the model. They know the model is the same and just keeps on rolling. It's a revolution. It just keeps on going. And they like it because it's different risk than what they're usually seeing on the commercial side of things, like a $10 million hotel, building a $10 million addition to a hotel. So it's different. It's just very different. So it can be all 3 of those things, but they differ depending on where you are in growing, where the market is, and where availability of capital is. So it's a great question, but literally it's all 3 of those. It's just a matter of it just really depends on the market, the bank, and the people that you have to service if you're not doing all the service work. BD Rentals and Investment Properties. Tangent. But is that a bear in a china closet, sir? Yes. Yep. That is a polar bear. That is a polar bear. All right, quick story. Grandparents. My grandpa is Ukrainian, from Odessa. His family left Ukraine when it was still basically going through the Bolshevik rebellion. Things were getting a little bit crazy there with everything that was going to be going on in those countries. They fled to the States. My great grandpa, that's actually who's my son's named after, Samuel. He would go down he owned a company, owned a store in Ukraine. And so when he got here to the States, didn't really have that much money. He would go to the newspaper factory. He would buy newspapers for a half a penny, and then he would stand out on the corner and sell them for a penny. That's how he then eventually turned that into a store, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. My grandpa, so typical or largely typical immigrant family, which is place a high value on education. They did so. All 3 of them were very highly educated. Put me to shame. Like that was World War III when I said I wasn't going to college. It was nightmare. I mean, I was basically disowned. And so they would travel. One of the big things, like in the 60s and 50s and 60s, was travel was very elite, very, very haughty toddy thing to do. They did that. And that polar bear was bought overseas. And yeah, it was something that was in my grandparents' house. And so when they passed away, that was one of the couple things that I asked for, was because it was, I remember it when I was a kid. It was used to be way up high and I was never allowed to touch it. And so literally every once in a while, I just go over and I pet the polar bear because now I'm allowed to touch it. It's my polar bear. So yes, that is a polar bear. Yes. Yeah. So there you go. Mark Galvin, happy Easter, Lumberjack. Mark, to you as well, sir. Invest Lynchburg. Good morning, Chris. Central Virginia, just jumped on after watching my brother's Easter service. Very cool. Happy Easter to all. I agree. All-nighter hider. Happy Easter to all. Andy W. I have 2 tenants that are roommates. One wants to go month to month, 2 month at end of lease. While looking for a new place, other wants to stay another year. What should I do? The other one has to find a roommate. So that's what I did. So I just had somebody like that where somebody wanted to leave early. And I said, you and your roommate need to work out finding somebody else. If you want to stay, I'll give them a lease so long as the other person qualifies. So I put them through the same process. But yeah, I put them in. If that one tenant's a good tenant that wants to stay, you can work with them to work with the roommate to make sure that they find a roommate that this guy is happy with. And if not, you can just give them a timeline and say, hey, if you don't have a roommate by this day, 30 days before the lease ends, then I'm going to market it. So they'll probably find someone. That's what I would do. RE3, thanks for doing this. I appreciate your reasonable, even keel approach to this. Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. Yeah. It's not so even keel if somebody's going to be an idiot. Like at that point, I just have suffered too many idiots in my real estate career working with people. And I just have no tolerance. So I'm not the nicest person. I'm a pretty nice guy, generally speaking, but if you're just insisting on being an idiot, then I'm gonna, I'm gonna take some linguistic liberties. Speaking of linguistic liberties, talk financial freedom. I've forgotten more than I'll ever know. I've forgotten more than I'll ever know. That's awesome. It is a memory thing. Kip Stevens, SOS Properties. Good morning, sir. Little late, long night. Completely understand. I understand those long nights too. My son Samuel woke me up at 2 o'clock this morning. Yeah, Daddy, I'm just gonna cuddle. Okay, all right, sounds good. Yeah, of course he's in bed and asleep in 5 seconds. I'm not. Only I'm allowed to ask stupid questions. That's Tom Kai. That's good. RE3, can you share that I allegedly podcast where he talked about you? I need a laugh. Yeah, let me look real quick. What's really funny? Here's what's really funny. For the next 5 days, I DM'd him. I posted stuff on his channel. I sent him invites. He will not answer me back. I was like, I would love to do a quick interview with you. Won't do it. Yep. I think that's all we need to know about that. It is. I don't have it. I'll have to find it. Sorry, I'll have to find it. Yeah, I don't have it. I would say it's the one where he's walking in front of a beach, but I can find it. Let me see. I watched 2 of his other videos and I thought they were such garbage that I stopped watching him. He's a clown. I'd love to know where all his money is. That's what I'd like to know. Crimson Knight. Hello, Matt. Happy Easter. Hey, Crimson Knight. Good to have you back. Ronald Zion, thank you for your wisdom. You're very welcome, sir. I appreciate it. I like to share my experiences. Hopefully it works out for you. Sometimes it won't. Because what a lot of people, it's the same advice at a different time in market doesn't always work. It might be the wrong thing to do in that time of market, just the way it goes. Did you see the 80 on NAR affordability index? That's brutal thoughts. I didn't see the 80 yet. That just came, that because it gets published on like the 15th of the month. It's an 80. That's like that's a negative 20. Guys, that's a negative 20. An 80. That's a negative 20. Wow. Affordability index in our area goes from 0 to, they had to go all the way up to 300 because of the real estate crash. So, but at 100, it is, so anything over 100 is the percentage of people that can afford to buy in the market that make more than the median income for that make the median income for the median house. If it's at 80, that means it's, what does that even mean? Is it 20% higher? I don't even know what that means. I have to look it up what that negative score means. Because an 80 is, it's 20 below 100. Just math, everybody. Wow. That means it went from 101, which meant 1% of people could afford that. I wonder what 20 Crimson, did you figure out what that means if it's under 100? Because I don't think even during the crash it got that, or even before the crash, I don't think it got below 100. Yeah, that's nuts. Invest Lynchburg. Since I started sharing basic CONC returns online, I've had 2 people reach out to me asking for help. I can see how this side hustle can help. Also, I've started using an email sig with my buy box. Guys, I have a killer video for you guys this week. I've been doing a ton of thinking of staying sticky in this market. You're not going to believe what I came up with. This video will set you apart. This video is going to be one of my 5 greatest videos. It will set you apart. It will set you apart. What I'm going to share this week, it will set you apart. It's going to blow your doors off. I scenarioed this thing like 1,000 different ways. I spent literally weeks just kind of ruminating on this idea. And it's pure brilliance, if I don't say so myself. I mean, it is. It just is what it is. I think it was Chris Miller. He was giving me a hard time because I like my own comment. And I said, I don't like all my own comments, but the ones that are really good, I do like them because they're that good. Oh, it's so funny. It's so funny. Tom Kine, should I count my 1-year anniversary of investing from when I purchased my first or from when I started doing the freaking work? I do it from when, I do it from when I purchase. So I did it from when I purchased, not when I started doing the work, but when I purchased. Yeah, that's how I do it. Other people, I'm interested in other people's opinions, but that's how I do it. Pallavi Patel, good morning. Good morning. Happy Easter to you too. Crimson Knight. On the IBC side, I got another quote. And the guy who did the quote said he only expected the IBC boiler to last 15 years. I would expect the boiler to last longer. I think that's kind of the general idea on the condensing boilers. However, I can tell you that I'm 6 years in and only 1 part's failed on over 20 of them. And I think the big thing is that's why I like the componentized design, is because any of those parts, we can pull a part out and put the new part in. So whereas certain parts might only last 15 years, other parts might last 30. So yeah, I'm still okay with that, because the boiler will still work the same. And so it also it allows for is a hot swap, right? So the actual boiler itself, I want to say is only like 4,500 bucks maybe. So pulling a whole cabinet and putting a whole new one in. And that's if you wanted to upgrade everything basically to brand new. Yeah, I'm still IBC. I'm not getting away from those. They're just too good and work too well. RE3. Sorry, I meant I have RE3. Sorry, I meant I have none of my initial money down payment. Oh, okay, good. The loan to value on the properties are 45%. Oh yeah, see, in my case, so long as they're making money, so long as they're printing cash, I will have a lower return on capital if I can get up to 70%. Now I get what you mean. That's good. I'm a little bit nervous there. Sorry, I wasn't trying to be rude with the Icarus comment, but I remember guys doing that in 05, 6, 7. They're the ones who got obliterated. Some of them had 110% what the house was worth in pocket. Why wouldn't they walk away? I mean, they were bad businessmen. Why wouldn't they walk away? And I know a bunch of them who walked away from 5, 6 properties. Not a bunch, but 3 or 4. Yeah, crazy. Suffice to say, we don't do business. Crimson Knight. And now for a long multi-part question before I leave to visit my family. Okay. Crimson. Well, you'll have to watch the replay, but I promise I'll answer. Rob, the only crisis I see in my market is lack of rentals. Yep, I'm getting people interrupting my demo, asking when the unit will be available. Dude, all the time. I had my guys working in a project last week. They got stopped 5 times last week and they weren't even there all 5 days. Hey, so what are these going to be? When are they going to be done? No joke. Nuts. Yeah, nuts. Crazy. So yeah, totally get it. Matthew Paris, hey, happy Easter, real estate family. Good to have you, Matthew. Invest Lynchburg. Matt, you mentioned price per square foot a few times. Do you use this in your buy box as metric? I don't because I think it varies so greatly, especially in my market where you can have a 130-year-old home versus a 5-year-old home. The price per square foot makes no difference. The only reason I use that as even slightly as just like a general kind of comparison is my development was largely built all around the same time. So there was one house that was built in like the 70s. There was one that was built in the mid 2000s. And then the other 3 were built in the mid 20, like 15, 16, 17s. Mine was the last one built. And so only in that scenario where it's basically the same vintage as my house, I use it as a kind of more off the cuff of let's put it this way. Even if you take the number price per square foot that they got, cut it by 40%, my house still doubled in a year, a little over a year. So yeah, it's more of kind of ballparking it and kind of giving people perspective than it is making a buying decision on. So hopefully that helps. But yeah, good question. Crimson Knight. So I got 2 quotes for the IBC, one at 28,000 and 22,000. One was just boilers, the other was boilers and propane conversion. Okay. Eastern Propane for one without the propane conversion was about $500 after rebates and a first customer discount. IBC boilers are that expensive? No, Chris. So so number one, he's doing 2. And number 2 is it's not just the boiler. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's all the piping too. So, because it's going to be a whole new full on piping setup. I'll show you what one looks like on my Instagram post IBC. If you're not following me on Instagram, Lumberjack Landlord, follow me on Instagram. I'll post a picture of a wall of IBCs and you guys can see how beautiful it is. IBC boilers pick. Or I'll send you one. I'll put up a couple because I have one where I replaced and they're 4 next to each other. Oh, it's like jewelry on a wall. It looks unreal. So no, they're not that expensive. Ethan Wood. Yeah, it's a 30-year fix. Yep. Just around the new fees and points. Yep. The government implemented for second homes and investment homes. Also easier for self-employed borrower to close on. Yeah. Okay. That sounds right. Yeah, right now you're going to see a lot of different products in the market. The big thing is 30-year fixed rate debt still. That's the thing that we're all shooting for, is because we don't want those payments to go up. Crimson Knight at Chris Miller, I'm doing 2. Yep. RE3, what percentage of your units do you have a property manager and which do you self-manage? So all 115 I self-manage. I have what I would call a project manager, where he'll bop around doing like little things here and there. And he just came aboard in October. Yeah, he just came aboard in October. We had to have him because we were on quarantine. I wasn't allowed to go in houses. I couldn't do anything, even the simple stuff, because of germs. And Eliana, my daughter, going through chemo. So Kenny's been with us since October. He's amazing. Love the guy like he's a brother. He's doing great work for me. We'll continue down this path, but basically he does, we kind of talk on a daily basis. And when we talk on that daily basis, we basically just talk about what the week holds, what projects we want to try and get done that week. Some of it he's doing, some of it he's checking up on other contractors doing. One of the ways to help keep my costs down for my contractors is I was the in-between guy. So I would go in, do a bunch of work, get the thing ready, and then the guys would come in, and then all they were doing was, like, as an example, painting and taping. That's all they were doing. They weren't having to do cleanups. They weren't removing blinds. They weren't doing all this other stuff that we can do at a cheaper rate, quite frankly. And so we and that's why we get a cheaper price as well on the deal, is because we have the job completely prepped where they just walk in and do work. That's how you lower your costs. Samar Farha, when rates are high and prices are high, what strategy do you use to buy? Return on capital. That's it. When prices are high and rates are high, the only thing that matters to me is I don't care what the rate is. I don't care what the price is. The only thing I care about is how much money do I have to put into the deal and how much return on that capital I'm getting back. I think a lot of people overcomplicate this. I don't care if rates are 6, 8, 12, 24, or 36. I don't care. I don't care if it's 30-year debt, 20-year debt, 15-year debt, 10-year debt. I don't care. The only thing I care about is that the rate is fixed and that whatever money I'm putting into it gives me an appropriate return on that capital. That's all I care about. The rest of it, I don't care. Largely speaking, the rest of it, I really don't care about. I'm just waiting for this line. Squeeze to other questions. Oh, yeah. Crimson Knight. The higher quote included tank removal, 2 Spirament air and dirt elimination systems, 2 Taco multi-speed circulators, and a new monoflow system to the second floor. So is it worth it for the air and dirt elimination, Taco circulators, and new monoflow systems? I also need to ask Eastern if they are removing old tanks and what else comes with it. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Sorry. Thoughts on all of this? I can send you the written quotes and see what you think. I've been horrible on email lately, guys. I won't lie, just because the schedule's still crazy. So the thing I'm trying to do the most, I try to get to email and I try and get to comments. I'm not doing a very good job the last few weeks just because everything is so busy with my real job and the baby and her finishing treatment and such, and trying to get a bunch of units ready for rental. And so there's very little chance I'll get to stuff over the next few weeks. That said, I don't know about all those extras because I know Kevin well enough. So my plumber, who you guys saw on my plumbing special, I know him well enough where if he wants to put something in there, he knows the rules. That it gives me better longevity in the system, that it makes for a better experience, and that it reduces repair. So one of the things you'll start to hear me talk a lot about is frictionless. I want frictionless landlording. That's impossible, right? You can certainly make it less friction, right? So what we're always trying to do in softer grit. So from a sandpaper's perspective, there's that sandpaper that's like, 32 grit or 16 grit that just literally is sand glued to paper that's just going to rip apart a floor. And then there's that, fine 320 stuff that is not going to cut down anything, but just really almost polishes wood. So I believe in frictionless. So knowing that I can't get frictionless, I can get much less friction. And the goal of that is when we install something, we spend the money, we get it properly installed. And if there's other extras that we can add on, that even if they give us an extra, 2-3 years because it runs cleaner, or this, that, or the other, we look at those types of things, because if we can get another 3 years out of the system for another $700, no brainer. Kind of, because I want frictionless. I want reliable. I want fewer phone calls. My goal every day is fewer phone calls. So the only way that you do that is when a problem comes up, you handle it quickly. Or number 2 is you put the right systems in that don't get you a lot of phone calls. That's the magic. Dion talk financial freedom. All of my offers are done through an agent. Yep. Even if did off market. Okay. I want my agents motivated to bring my deals. Perfect. Yes, indeed. Yeah. And to be clear, if an off market is brought to me by an agent, absolutely the agent. If I create the deal and I find the deal, I don't need my agent. I use my attorney because what I need him for is pretty slim. So yes, Dion, exactly. Samara Farho. Like Mike said yesterday, can you do a video and walk through a property to point out issues with big five, foundation, roof, HVAC, electrical, plumbing? I didn't see that. I have a bunch of stuff I'm going to do in the field. I have a camera crew that I work with, and so we'll do a bunch of field stuff in May and June. So foundation, roof, HVAC, electric, and plumbing. Yeah. Yeah, we can walk you through like properties, but like big issues, I don't usually have big issues. So, because if they were when I bought the house, I fixed the issue when I bought the house. But yeah, I'll do something to that. Yeah, I'll do something to that effect. Crimson Knight. Well, I'm off now. I will listen to your answers later. By the way, that is a great house you have in Raymond near the state park. Have a great Easter. Thanks. Yeah, it's near the state park. It's on its own private little lake. Yeah, it's a great spot. It's an Airbnb. Somebody's going to crush it there. I'm just not an Airbnb guy. I know my role. Samara Farho. How do you find what the best buy with highest rate of return in your market? How do you find inefficiencies in your market, which is our job, like you say? Yeah, great question. You have to know the construction side. That's the only way to do it. In my eyes, you have to know the construction side. Yep. So as an example, I can do a really nice kitchen for less than 10,000 bucks. But if I see that a kitchen is the reason that this thing is not selling, I can just do a kitchen. Not hard. I can do floors. I can do kitchens. Electrical is difficult unless I'm planning on buying it as a total gut. That's where I say, if something on a scale of A to F is a C, I hate that product because it cost me just as much to demo it. If a product is an F, well, then it's easy. And I'm not paying for the fact that it's a C that some other people would just spruce up a little bit and rent it. So the biggest thing is learning construction. Learn and understand not construction, but rehab construction. They're two completely different things. I find studs in the wall that are 2 by 4 inches, legitimately 2 across and 4, not the current day standard. So I'm working in homes that are 140 years old. You have to learn how to do things and then learn to adapt. We'll have some videos of a gutted project. Like I said, we got my crew. We'll be doing some stuff in May, and we have a couple of projects right now that are completely gutted. So you guys can see exactly what I deal with and the kind of projects that I do. But that's the value. That's where you unearth value. You unearth value from a construction project perspective. You unearth value because you can get another unit in the existing building just by splitting up a unit because it's zoned for more and they're just not using it as such. One of the biggest deals I found in the last year was I bought a single family house that was actually zoned for a duplex that the family converted to a single family in 1981 because they had such a huge family. I converted it back to a duplex. I should have paid that thing just appraised for $335,000. I paid $164 for it. I put $35 into it. I have $140,000 of equity in that property. Now I cashed out and I actually paid off the money that I paid to redo it. I put 20 something thousand bucks in my pocket for me. And then I still have a loan on it for 70%. And the rents on that property still make like 26%, 27% is what I make on the nut. So yeah, that's where you find value. So single families that are zoned duplex, or really, even duplexes that are zoned for quads, depending on if you can get more out of the existing structure, if you can add. Usually that's not, largely speaking, it's not going to be without, you're going to have to do something. If you really want to do value add, you have to do something. Create another bedroom, create another unit, add an ADU. Yeah, do something that, Yeah, those are the main areas worth adding value. Invest Lynchburg. I'll be visiting New England in July. I miss New England summers, not as muggy as the South. True story. How do you deal with family? In my experience, they either think you are crazy or think you are rich. How do I deal with family? Give me more detail on that question because I don't want to take it down the wrong path. I'll tell you, I'll be honest, but yeah, give me more detail. I'm getting people asking if my rental on Facebook Marketplace is available, and I answer yes, but then I don't hear back. Yeah, everybody doesn't even know when you get back to them if they remember even what unit it was that they asked about. That's kind of how crazy the market is right now. Chris Miller, a week after purchasing my newest duplex, I caught one of the tenants breaking the lease on 4 occasions. The plan was to save money for a reno, then use the binder strategy. Now I'll have a vacant unit for a while I save. Unfortunate circumstance. Yeah, I mean, depending on what the lease break was, I might try and work with them. But again, not asking your business, it would just depend on what the lease break was. RE3, a lot of people have no place to live. Housing crisis, a name of his video I just saw. Yeah, it's so dumb. Like all of a sudden there's going to be like 30% of people in the streets. Like that's just so moronic. It really is. Do you think that if, let's just say jobs go to 15% unemployment, that means 85% of people are still employed. Does it hit me? Sure. Will I work with people? Sure. But I'm not going to take zero. And yeah, I'll just evict you. Like if that's what I have to do, like my business is well capitalized and you can't stay for free. But yeah, that's why these guys are idiots. Just the way it is. They're just idiots. Eric Slay, Jason Hartman wanted to interview him also, and I don't think he will. Jason, I allegedly, yeah, dude, Jason Hartman's a stud, right? Jason Hartman knows the numbers, the markets. He's been around, as long as Noah. Like that guy is dialed in. He's a stud. This guy, I allegedly, I mean, like, what does he do? He like walks around the beach with his phone, like just bringing up thought-provoking things. I don't know where he came from. Does he own a business? Is he worth $20 million? Where does he have all his money? I don't know. If you guys know a video of that states all that stuff, I'd love to look at it because based on what I can tell, he's just making a ton of money off of YouTube because people like, getting their fear bunny stroked. Oh yeah, brutal. Invest in Lynchburg. I know affordable index means something, but I still can't figure it out. I assume each market is different, but do I want the affordability index to be high or low? It depends on how your market counts it, Chris. What you're really looking for is, it depends on how they calculate. What's most important is that so Mike's number is between 0 and 100. If 40% of people that make the median income can afford the median home, then his score is a 40. When the market crashed, Fresno got into the teens and 20s, meaning that only 20% of people making the median income could afford the median home. In my market, it's now below 0, which means that you have to make, I think what it means is you have to make 20% more than the median income to afford the median house now. I think that's what it means. I'm not positive. I have to double check it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yes. Samara Farho, thanks for the info. Thanks, Matt, for the great info. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you, Samara. I appreciate you. Enjoy your weekend as well. Yeah, I'm only going to go a little bit longer. I want to spend some time with my family on Easter weekend. We did the morning, but we'll do the afternoon. I'm literally checking out to see if the wonders of technology, right? I've got my daughter on a camera. And she's still sleeping. My little bunny. Yeah, that's the beam. See? Yep. Still taking a nap. So when she wakes up, we're going to do some family stuff, but it's a while. Good morning, everyone. I finally closed on a duplex Friday with 27% return. Dawn, congratulations, my friend. I know you've been working hard. Good job. Dawn was turning deals down in the 20s previously, but good for you, Dawn. I'm psyched for you. Chris Miller, only extremely confident people like their own comments. That's true. Well, I'll say it differently, but only slightly differently. Only confident people that are very confident about their comment will like their own comment. And that's where I come in. I'm confident, but if I'm confident in the comment and I'm like, this is thus saith the lumberjack, then if it's a thus saith, then I got to give it a thumbs up. RE3, congrats, Don. Yes, congrats. Don, happy Easter, everyone. You as well, Don. BD Rentals and Investment. Nice job, Don. Yep, very good. I love it. We're all on each other's sides here, guys. I love seeing great deals done in every market but my own, unless I'm doing them. Yeah, I watched one. I saw one and I should have pushed harder and I could have probably gotten the deal, but good for the guy who got it. I was being a little too aggressive. We'll say aggressive. Let's see, RE3. I've been holding 20 to 40% of my net worth in cash over the last 5 years. Yep. Do you think that's too high of a cash percent? I think 40% is too high. I don't think 20% is too high. For me. I would never give anybody else financial advice because it's about, can you sleep at night based on what your setup is? And for me, at the rate of inflation, 40% is just way too much. I have a ton sitting there right this second, but it's more shorter term because I believe that I'm going to have some cash opportunities and I need all of that cash in there, into the 7 figures, because I need to be able to do a close in 10 or 14 days and not wait for a bank. And then I can close it and then I can refi. And I might leave some cash behind in some of those deals. And that's a risk I'm willing to take if the deal is that good. But I'm looking to find that person who has to close, that really needs to get it out and needs it in a couple of weeks. And there are those that happen. They happen back in 9, 10, 8, 9, 10, 11. They happen in those timeframes for sure. Chris Miller, congrats, Don. Was it owner occupied? No. Don is Don moves around a little bit. Invest Lynchburg, Matt, thanks again for the live stream. Always a ton of good information. Very cool. I'll be watching the rest on replay in the office this week. Very cool. Wife wants to get to the gym. I get that. I got to get below 250, bro. Don't we all? Yeah. 250. It's been a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah, that was a long time ago. 250. Yeah. Invest Lynchburg. Everyone hit the like button. Thank you very much, Christian. I appreciate that. Enjoy your time at the gym. At Chris Miller, nope, 25% investor, non-QM with velocity. Very good. Very good. Don Atherton. Thanks, Chris. Don Atherton at Chris Miller. Congrats yourself. I hate it when tenants take advantage of a change in ownership. Yeah, I've got a couple of those. They're gonna get a dope slap this week. They're not gonna like that. Phil Nealand. Thanks for the Easter consistency. You're welcome, my friend. We're a family. We do this together, right? So you guys are my second family. Got my first family. They got a bunch of my time this morning. You guys get a little bit now, and then I'll give them the rest of my day. So yeah. Angel R. Using Roxul as per your suggestions to soundproof my house hack shared wall plus 5/8 drywall. So far, so good. Dude, rocking. Did you use the 3 mil plastic on top too? Or in the joist wells or the stud wells? I'm glad. Junior Rizzardi. Thank you. You're welcome, Junior. I appreciate you being here. I've never seen your name before, but I'm glad you commented today. I love it when new folks jump in the conversation. All Night Hider. I'm back, and yes, Jason Hartman is awesome and genuinely a good dude. Yeah, so I don't watch a ton of him. I watch some of him, but he's a good guy, knows the market. He's not crash, but he is, hey, here's what I see kind of coming in the market. Here's some of the ideas that you might want to be prepared for. And I think it's sound, generally speaking, sound advice. So, I think that the ones who think, listen, if there was one guy who made some comment that said, yeah, 80% of the economy is going to get blown away. Well, dude, then that means that unless you're in the position where you have no debt and like a bunch of assets producing cash and like $5 million in cash, unless you're that guy, you're part of the 80, right? They get torched. Okay. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, if you live your life that way, you will never get anywhere. You will never get it. I'm a ninth grade dropout. Do you think when I went and applied for a job at, Fortune 50 companies, and some people were like, well, you're a high school dropout. Yeah, I am. Here's my sales record. Here's my track record. Here's how many companies I've turned around. Let's have a conversation. Yeah, I thought so. Right. And I wouldn't say, yeah, I thought so to them, but I would say, sounds great. If the most important criteria for you is what somebody did 20 years ago in college, I'm not the right guy for you. I'm just not. If the most important thing to you is what I've done over the last 20 years of my track record and how I can fix your business, I'm definitely the right guy for you, because that's what I do. So it's just about changing the narrative. And I think in a lot of cases, the reason I bring that up is because, these people that are just like, this is the way it's going to be. It's just not. There's exceptions to every rule. Mark Oshiro, hello from Hawaii. Hey, Mark, hello from Hawaii. Oh, it's early there, isn't it? It is. Without doing an appraisal, is what resource or site would you use to give us the best estimate for the value of property you own? That is a really awesome question. So I'm working on that. There's one that I actually did a trial with. I won't say their name yet because I haven't validated the data, but I'm doing one with their site presently, and I'm seeing how close to market it is. The reason why I'm doing that is because I just had 8 appraisals done. So I'm taking those 8 appraisals and then comparing them to a bunch of other sites to see which ones were the closest, because they don't give a whole lot of data. They don't really share their algorithm. So I will know that in the next few weeks. I need to retire to do all these videos. Holy cow. Matthew Paris, I looked it up. It means the median income in New Hampshire is now only 80% of what is needed to qualify for the median home under prevailing interest rates. 80, so is now only 80%. So sorry, guys, ninth grade education kicking in here. I don't really understand what that means. New Hampshire is only 80%, is now only 80% of what is needed to qualify. So that would mean that to qualify for a median house, you have to make 20% more than the median income. That's what I said. I think that's the right calculation. But please correct me. I want to be right on this, because this is something I'm really trying to dial in on, because that 80% thing doesn't make any sense. So I get the calculation, but I don't know how it correlates to people. Because before at 100, that meant that basically 100 versus 100 people, or 100 score, meant that 0 people that made median income could afford a median house, which is possible because in the last year, guess what? We went from 300, I think it was 310 to 440. We went up almost 50%. Bad. These are all numbers that I wouldn't say. So I talked to a closing attorney. She said their transactions have not come down at all. She said the thing that they're seeing most now is cash transactions. And they're real cash. They left other markets. They love our state's politics. And this is not a political channel. I'm not commenting on that. I'm just saying this is what she's hearing in her closings, where I'm sick and tired of getting taxed to death. I'm sick and tired of every time I turn around there being another tax. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of that. All stuff to do with how their states are run. She said that's consistently what she's hearing at the closing table. That's why people are leaving Massachusetts, Connecticut, and New York, and coming here. Not my words, hers. I just reach out and I have those conversations because I want to know what they're thinking and what they're hearing. On Anna K. So cute, baby in the camera. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we use technology here. Matthew Paris from NAR article. Yep. Yeah, they come out with that every month and every quarter. Your states usually do the same too. Chris Miller, windows open with the heat in the 80s. Cigarette smoking in the unit. Yeah, Drugs found in the room, hasn't paid rent since December, more worried about destruction. Yeah, nope. That's all the reasons to get rid of somebody right there. You had me at heat in the 80s with windows open. Cigarette smoking, drugs, all that other stuff is just cherry on top. Consider the logic. I switched accounts from all night hider. The like has been hit twice now. Thank you very much. Consider the logic. That's great. RE3, what do you mean you switched accounts from all night hider? Oh, so he probably has multiple Google accounts. Angel Ire, yes, sir. Use some heavy vinyl plastic. And good. I'm glad the sound drastically reduced. It was really in mine. It was really awesome. Eric Soleil, mixed use by us is cheap. Yeah, mixed use can be cheap. Very cheap. And the thing is that I make my money off of, so I bought something that was 4 stories tall. But I'm able to convert the bottom floors to residential because the first floor stays commercial. So I'll keep commercial there. I make okay money on the commercial. It's kind of, it's all right. But on the resi stuff there, because of the location, make a mint. And I just got 2 more resi units out of the building that I can flip from commercial. Commercial pays for that floor. I think it's 2 units. They pay $1,600 a month. Commercial does. Residential will be $2,000. So they pay $1,600 combined. Resi will be $4,000 combined. It's a massive win because of the location. So that's another thing about value add. That's another big thing about value add stuff. Is literally finding opportunities like that. That's the big value add. Is I'm taking property that was commercial, looking at it, understanding it, being able to rezone it, and getting residential out of it. Yeah. Antonio Barajas, good morning, Lumberjack. I still wish you had the 9th grade dropout name as your name. Yeah. You'll see why I had the Lumberjack soon enough. There's some cool stuff coming from Lumberjack. Yeah. REI Trainer. Hey, REI Trainer. Happy Easter. Good to have you here. It's been a minute since I've seen you. Chris Miller, obsessed with making sure all of my properties are insulated properly now. However, the energy auditor said Rockwool isn't preferred, said cellulose or fiberglass wrap is cheaper and it works just as good. So that's coming from a guy from not from an installation perspective. That's the difference. Yep. And who doesn't have to manage the property, because the hard pack cellulose, if you get a pest in there, they will die in your wall and they will stink. So he's clearly not a landlord. Pests will burrow in there. They will die in there. And pests meaning like vermin, like rats and mice and things like that. They can't do that in Roxul. The other thing is that you actually have better sound attenuation with Roxul. So while I respect his ability to read a blow door test, I don't respect his abilities on being a landlord. He's just wrong. Yeah. Fiberglass wrapped, pests get into that stuff all the time because they can eat through the paper, and then they make a shelter in the pink stuff. And good luck, because the only way to fix that when you get that stink is to open up the wall and find it. And it's not an exact science. So you might have to open up 2 or 3 or 4 bays. And when they can get into that stuff, they also can eat your wire. And so with the Roxul, they won't do that because they can't eat the Roxul. They won't nest in the Roxul. So you can make your incision cut for wire, where you basically just incision cut the backside and then slide it over onto the wire. And then you're not going to get a pest issue. But that's just me. Yeah, I disagree with him. I'm sure he's great at a blow door test, but being a landlord is not going to work for him. So there's a reason why Roxul works and why it's a big growth segment. It's because people that understand what they're doing in these buildings use that product instead of blow-in. Blow-in is the only option. You know, the option for blow-in is when the wall's already shut up, but I don't know what's already in the wall. You know, I don't know about your houses in your market, but in mine, a lot of them are farmhouses. And so it's easy for pests to get in. And even when you block a lot of the stuff outside, they still find the one thing that was this big that they were able to squeeze in again. So yeah, for what it's worth. Consider the logic. Great info, man. I have no rentals yet, but I'm on my way. Dude, that's awesome. keep on the working, keep on working. You're going to find opportunity. Tough to break into the San Diego markets. Yeah, no kidding. That is a market that Rob on here is in the San Diego markets. I am not. That is an extremely expensive market. And to do my plan, 4-3-2-1 strategy, even if you're starting off on a tri or a duplex, but you're actually house hacking, that I think is, I don't love single family in San Diego based on what little I know about it, especially in this market. But yeah, that's a tough market. So you got your work cut out for you. Marco Shiro, thanks. I'll be on the lookout for the site platform you use to estimate value of property. Yeah, I'll do a video on it. Yeah, like I said, I bought a few of them trials. I want to balance what I got for actual appraisals against those and see how they did. REI trainer, do you think if the stock market drops because of capital squeeze, job income, people in expensive properties may be forced to downsize because of higher rates than moving, causing low income property crisis? Sort of. I think the first thing that go are their toys. Lamborghini. Yeah, I think the first thing that go are their toys. They do everything they can to stick in that house because they might have paid $1.4 million. It was worth $1.6 million at the peak. Now, let's say going 2 years forward, the market tanks 40 or 50%. They're an executive. They lose their job. They can't afford the $9,000 a month mortgage anymore, but they have some money in savings so they can afford it for a little while. But with the market being what it is, they'd have to literally come up with money to sell it. They're better off selling assets, right? They've got cars, vacation home. They're better off selling those types of things that they then can use to then take care of and stay in their regular house. Chester Williams at Matthew Paris. Does that mean that only 80% of the AMI is necessary to buy the medium priced house in NH? RE3, what state is Lumberjack Landlord in? I'm in New Hampshire. Yeah, I'm in New Hampshire. I had to pick between Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine for my markets 20 years ago. I did all the evaluation. I looked at everything. I looked at government. I looked at schools. I looked at incomes and jobs and opportunity for growth. And I spent really about a year really picking a market, and I picked New Hampshire. And I've not been disappointed. There's other ones that have gone up pretty well, but in my market, most of the properties that I bought 10 years ago have doubled or tripled. So I've done just fine. Golden Crespo, about the appraisal answer, would you do a subtraction percentage due to rental appraisal normally coming in lower? At least it is happening in my Florida market. It doesn't happen here. They just look at it's true comp. This is what, so they'll only put very little weight on the income side. They'll put a lot more rate on just the pure comp side. So for us, it's still a comp. And that's really what it looks like. Chris Miller, I think you're talking about two different scores. That 80 definition isn't consistent with the one you've been using. It is so the one that I look at is the affordability index. The affordability index that they show, what I was told by a broker that uses that affordability index is that it is at 100. That means that it's that basic, or at 1, that means 1% of people can afford to buy the median home on a median income. So if it's different, yeah, please correct me. That's, you use a broker for that. I see the sheet, but that's what my understanding was of how it was calculated. So yeah, if I'm wrong, please correct me. Consider logic. Oh yeah, RE3. I went from my phone to my laptop. Yep, different account for more YouTube action. Awesome. Chester Williams, what is Roxul? I'd heard you mention that a little bit earlier. Roxul is a go to their website. You can go to literally just roxul.com. If you go to roxul.com, it's an insulation that's actually spun from lava. So it's actually like stone based. Gives you great R value, helps cut down on noise. Pests and vermin won't make houses and homes in it. They can't eat it. They can't digest it. It's kind of like a combination of insulation and steel wool, but it's made from rock. But check out the video, Roxul. That stuff is awesome. Don Etherton, just received my first order of flooring. Wow, is that stuff thick? Yeah, right? Yeah, I'm telling you, it's good product. We're using it everywhere right now. I hope it doesn't suck. But yeah, we've been using it since last July, so we're coming up on a year. We haven't had any issues. The only issue we had was one place, but it was an install issue, and I could tell because where we had issues on the floorboard, I looked underneath and they just didn't. They hadn't redone anything on the subfloor, which was a mistake. That was their fault. Just being lazy. If any of this stuff is helpful, guys, please feel free to hit that like button. I'm going to go 24 more minutes to 1:30, and then I'm going to cut out for the day. but I'll answer your guys' questions as they continue to come in. Antonio Barajas, hey, Lumberjack, when you buy a duplex or quads, does appraisal and the inspection look at all of the properties or just the main house? So duplexes are conjoined. Duplexes are attached, whether by sides, front to back, or top to bottom. So they look at that property and then they compare that property to other properties in the market like it. I know Dion won't buy a top bottom. I don't mind buying a top bottom because I can cut out the noise if I absolutely have to. It's about a $5,000 to $6,000 project, but I can cut out that noise. I can literally rip down all the ceilings and I can put in, everything I need to put in, which is they make a product called Safe and Sound. Roxul makes that product. And then you can basically suspend a ceiling, even if it's sheetrock, you can still suspend it. And then you can also use a product called Quiet Rock. So it's about, like I said, depending on the size of the place, $5,000 to $6,000 project. But you can do that and you can eliminate that sound. And sometimes I've seen one appraiser account for a top bottom versus a side by side, but usually I'm side by side. The reason you do side by sides is because stairwells are usually on the party wall. So your beds aren't on the party wall. You might have a bed on the party wall, but usually not. A lot of times it's mostly stairs, but one of the units might have like a 10-foot section that's on the party wall. A lot of times. Roxul's are brands of rock wool insulation. It's literally built out of lava rock. It is. Chris Miller, Central PA, very old homes as well. Yeah. Yep. I'm telling you, the Roxul, that's all I'll use. I won't ever use the open. I will never use like closed face, regular fiberglass insulation ever again. And I won't pay to have my walls packed with it, especially now that they can do spray foam in walls where they just port the hole and they drop it through and it can fill up the cavity. Cellulose and the hard pack stuff, that the only reason I ever used that was because that's the only option that I had. So if I want to keep a wall closed, I'm getting spray, and I'm waiting on a couple quotes actually for a couple properties. But if it's an open wall, it's going to be Roxul or it's going to be spray foam. The problem with spray foam in my market is a lot of times the studs aren't deep enough and you have to have R21 in the walls, and you need to get R21. You need to have 3 inches of stud. And sometimes you don't have that with some of these really old homes. Sometimes it's 2 3/4 and the inspector's instantly going to say not deep enough if they measure. Hugo G. Hey, Hugo. Good morning. I was going to buy a house at the beginning of the pandemic, but I didn't due to the uncertainty. Now the property appreciated $150K. How can I mentally overcome this decision? Sorry. Yeah, sorry. For decisions from me that I've made in the past that ended up not being the right one, I just like to share that story so other people don't suffer the same thing. So based on the channels that you are watching, I would just leave it there as a comment. I would just say, hey, I might be priced out of this market. The property's appreciated $150K in the last 2 years. The interest rates are now completely unreachable. And so even when the economy does start to correct, it's going to need to correct at least 40% for me to get the same mortgage payment, which I don't feel confident that it will. And then you've lost 4 years of paying mortgage instead of paying rent. So I'm sorry to hear that happen to you. That's why we actually do this channel. That's why Orat does their channel. That's why Dion docs his channel. That's why we do this stuff, is we want to share our experiences, give people courage to just do the work themselves and understand maybe it's a good investment, maybe it isn't, but at least go making the investment based on knowledge. So I'm really sorry to hear that happen, Hugo. It's tough to take. I get it. Chester Williams, an interesting aside from that makes rational sense. The highest value, not fastest rising price. Markets like Georgetown here in DC and Potomac and Bethesda in Maryland burbs are seeing very little. Yeah. Yep. Chester Williams, very little appreciation because the markets are mature and expensive, meaning only well-off people can afford to buy there. Sure. Some of the well-off expensive areas here, they still continue to grow because there's more out-of-state money coming here, pushing numbers up. Like if you had told me that we would be selling $2.5 and $3 million condos in a tiny little town in New Hampshire that's like 20 something thousand people, even though it is on the Piscataqua River, You told me you were going to get $3 million for like a 1,400 square foot 2-bedroom condo. That's just dumb. That's dumb. Sorry, in my eyes, that's dumb. Because the number of people that can buy that when the economy turns is so small. Like that number's coming down. RE3, I'm in the service and always traveling. Since I became accredited in 2017, I've only bought one rental. The rest of my investing dollars went to 25 or so passive private placements as an LP. Oh, very interesting. I do want to buy a few more rentals, mainly because I think that the 30-year fixed loan is the best asset class in America. However, I have no clue which markets to jump into. That's the toughest part, picking the right market, because you want to pick one that you kind of know, where you kind of know the secrets about it. Like anybody can ask me the 3 towns about my 3 towns that I invest in. I know everything that's good, everything that's bad. I know all of that stuff. And it's because I'm in the market. I live here. I follow it every day. I talk to other construction companies. I talk to the town. I talk to the city. I talk to all, it's being in the conversation. The local paper tells you a lot. So yeah, there's a lot there. Yeah, there's a lot there. But yeah, picking is the hardest one. Han Solo, do you recommend inspection on new construction by national builders such as DR Horton? Ooh, I don't know. I've never bought anything brand new from DR Horton or any of the other home builders, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, because so here's what I would do if I were in those shoes. I've never done it before, but if I were in those shoes, I would probably call an inspector and say, what is it that you can try to unearth in a brand new build? All the walls are closed, basement's brand new. Like, what is it that they're going to find? That's what I kind of look at. Consider the logic. Iron sharpeth iron. Had a great time listening to the info. Off to church now. Godspeed. Appreciate you spending the time with me. And have a blast at church. Church is awesome. RE3. I'll be in the service another year or so, and I really want to get another VA loan. Live in a unit for a couple of months and then rent out the entire triplex or fourplex. Yes, that's what I do. I house hack 4321, and you've earned it, but you have that VA loan with 0% down. You've earned it. So that's a massive opportunity. Just that's a massive opportunity. I'm so glad that we take care of our veterans with giving them special loans. They deserve them. So, yep, 100%. RE3, Chester. I'm renting in a luxury 1-bedroom in downtown Bethesda, right by you. Oh, my investing motto has been rent where you live, buy where others pay the mortgage for you. Yes, exactly. No one buying a house in Potomac or Bethesda is getting any cash flow today. Yeah, so guys, we have markets like that too. No cash, right? Where one of the ones that I looked at, where I said it was like a 1.5% return, that was it was actually a negative return if you count for any level of vacancy or any level of repair, anything. And these were on big numbers too. This was like, I think it was $167,000 it was a garbage. Like the deal was just such garbage. Only reason you would buy it for that is because you're buying the dirt. So yeah, I'm totally with you. Chris Miller, Chester. I have a property in Alexandria. I can confirm that the appreciation hasn't been much. DC is just very different market. Doesn't fluctuate like the rest of the country does. Yep. Yeah. So we see the same thing in New Hampshire here until the pandemic, because a bunch of people started coming here. And so people were selling stuff, like a ranch in a nice part of Connecticut was $1.3 million. They're coming here and they're buying a nice ranch in my town for 400. They're thrilled. They got a bigger house on more land. That's what they get here in my market. And so they're thrilled, but that's what's raised the price so much, where now the median home is 440. But I think like even that next level up home is like 700, and they're able to buy that thing. And because they just sold something that was in the millions, $1.2 million, $1.4 million, $1.6 million, and they're getting a bigger house here, more land here, better area. Yeah. So yeah, we see that. We're seeing that every day. What calculations cash on cash is good for a house hack? It's Mika. Hi, it's Mika. I've never seen you on my channel before ask a question, so I'm excited you did ask one. So the way I figure it is I figure it based on when I have moved out, and what that unit is going to get for rent. And then I just compare that to what the other buildings are that are of the same kind. So as an example, a 3-unit building that I would house hack. But even though I'm moving in and house hacking, the question is, does it survive? Largely, I take the house hacking piece out of the equation. Why? Because I'm not going to be there forever. I'm going to be there for a year or two. So I just want to make apples to apples. So I look at a three unit, right, as an example, and I say, okay, it's 3 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms are $2,000 a month where I am. So that's $6,000 a month. But I can kind of take myself out of the equation. I just want to understand what market is, because let's say my mortgage is $3,500. Okay, I'm making $500 a month, but I'm living there for free. I would still take my money and I'd still be saving it like I was paying myself rent. I'd still be saving that money and stocking it away. So yeah, that's what we do. So there's no, so the calculation is still, what is my return on capital if I buy into the house? What skews it a bit is that you're able to get either first-time home buyer or owner-occ loans at 3.5% or 5%. That's what I did with one of my students. He bought into a fourplex. He bought it. His out of money at closing table was $8,700, and he had to do about $7,000 worth of work. But that was rehabbing a unit that he knew he wanted to live into, so he made it a super nice unit. So when he moves out, that building right now, the fourplex, it makes about $1,000 a month. When he moves out, it'll make $2,100 or $2,200 a month, because he'll get $1,100 or $1,200 for his 1-bedroom unit that he completely went through. So the calculation always is property to property, as opposed to, and what you're putting into it and the return on that capital that you're getting, as opposed to figuring it out if you're house hacking it. That's the bigger thing. If you just treat it purely as all 3 units renting in each triplex, what the return on that capital is that you're going to put into it, that's usually the best approach. RE3, I'm an MD, lowly radiologist. I don't think so. And I just wanted to say, I cannot begin to emphasize with you, as I don't have children, but I hope you and your daughter are getting excellent care. Thank you very much. Yeah, we are getting amazing care. So if you guys ever want to know, we are going to Mass General Hospital. It's one of the top 15, 20 in the country. Yep. And for her type of cancer, spectacular. We love the radiologists because they're the ones who give us the good news on the scans. So we have CT, MRI, and a bone scan. I think we have all of those in the first week of May. Yeah. It's Mika C. Thank you. Go Knights, go. Yeah, I agree. Man, they've been kind of disappointing this season. Like, they have so much talent. Just, yeah, I hope they can go. I hope they can go deep. I do. Bruins too, but my euphoric moment would be the Knights and the Bruins in the finals together. I don't see that happening, but a boy can dream. Chester Williams at RE3. That makes sense. Curious to know when you started investing there. I remember when townhouses on Doctors Row along Route 355 or 600K back in the late 80s. I'm sure they're north of 2 million now. Wow. I mean, imagine that appreciation, right? That's crazy. That's amazing. REI Trainer, thank you for sharing all of your wisdom with us on Easter Sunday. You are welcome. I hope you enjoy the time with your family and the rest of the day. God bless you and your family. Thank you, REI Trainer. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're going to have some fun. We already had our Easter egg hunt. We did one inside. We did one outside because it was a nice day. And so I don't know what we're going to do this afternoon. Kids are probably just going to take turns climbing on me like I'm a jungle gym. That's usually what happens. RE3, haha, I'm glad to hear. I don't often hear people say that they love radiologists, but we'll take it. Yeah, honestly, I mean, so you probably know it's the scariest of all of them, right? Because you're coming out of that, and within an hour or two, you're going to know exactly what's going on inside, right? So for us, a good radiologist actually saved my daughter's life. True story. Yep. We went in, they had a ED radiologist look at it and go, nope, good. Not really sure. That's not the cause of the problem. We had a pediatric radiologist come in for the second opinion. He's the one who told us we need to get down to Boston right away. So, yep, that's exactly how ours went. So that radiologist in large part really helped save her life, because we could have been sent home because there wasn't the first radiologist, the ED radiologist that looked at it didn't think there was anything going on. He missed a softball sized tumor that had wrapped around her kidney, is what he missed. So I get it. No one's perfect, but I would think that you wouldn't miss that. But the pediatric the pediatric radiologist actually looked at it and was just like, this is actually what's going on here. So I was like, wow. So yeah, we've been blessed with an amazing medical team. The challenge with my daughter's cancer is that only 25 kids a year get it. So who's the expert? There really isn't one. That's 25 kids a year in the US get her type of cancer, which is called a rhabdoid malignant tumor. Very invasive, very aggressive, very sticky from a growth perspective. It's not easily taken off of tissue. So it had wrapped around her kidney. She had 2 spots on her liver. She had 1 spot on her rib cage, another spot on her upper rib cage. So yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, radiology was amazing. We've had to do radiology in the first week. We were constantly getting images. And then since then it's slowed down a lot more because she got in treatment. And so, yeah, we're very, hopeful and excited, to get the next scan, which is, like I said, the first week of May. So yeah, radiologists, we actually do love you guys a lot. We appreciate you. And we appreciate people who excellence is what we appreciate, because it's excellence that helped us get here. So yeah, we're grateful. Yes. Chester Williams at Chris Miller. Is your property near Potomac Yards along Route 1 or near the Arlington Alexandria side? RE3, Chester. My rentals are in Hawaii, Little Rock, and Central Florida. Most of my real estate equity is in large apartments, okay, self-storage and mobile home parks all across the US. So RE3, you've probably done pretty well in that space. The new deals in that space are the ones that scare me. And just so long as the old ones actually have a plan of how to, if they were able to properly reset debt and risk, reassess risk. RE3, I am simply renting in Bethesda as a finish my service commitment. Yeah, I don't own here. Okay, yep. Chester Williams, RE3, that makes sense. RE3, Chester Williams. Yes, I went to medical school near the Walter Reed campus. Yep, 07 to 11. Awesome. Had a few classmates who now kicking themselves at selling at the time. Yeah, I bet. Rob, San Diego is doable, but not easy. Agreed. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah. Chester Williams. Matt, Dion's going live right now. That makes all 3 amigos of FI going live on Easter. Nice. What is he doing live right now? I'll have to end my stream and just go watch his. I'm ending mine in 6 minutes anyway. I wonder what he's doing. Can't we just, maybe he might be picking up off of, so people still have a chance to talk about real estate. That'd be awesome. RE3, wow, what a story, Lumberjack Landlord. I'm wondering what the ER doctor or radiology resident in the ED, or did the staff radiologist miss it? It was the person for radiology that was at that time on call or available. Yeah. Yep. It wasn't the doc. It wasn't the doc. The doc was like, I think I see something. And the radiologist insisted it's nothing. Yeah. Yeah. Cassidy Ironman. My cousin had neurological issues growing up. She got head CT and was cleared. It was just one of those things. 20 years later, she had a series of seizures. Doc looked at it at old CT, classic epilepsy. Unreal. Wow, that's crazy. RE3, I'm so glad that the peds rad guy was able to see it soon after, so it didn't affect the outcome. You and me both. She would not have lasted much longer with how fast that tumor was growing. It was bigger than my fist, and my daughter, who was 5 months old, it was this big. Maybe my fist is bigger than a lot of others, but this was this big, and it was wrapped around her kidney. So I don't remember the artery. You know the artery. but the artery that runs there by the kidney, if it had wrapped around that, it's kind of like, okay, lights out. So yeah, very blessed. Yeah, very blessed. Rich Boudreaux's bailing me to go watch Dion. I'll remember that, Rich. I can tell. I'm glad you enjoyed the info. It was good hanging with you. Mari Rami, sending love and light. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, my daughter's doing great. Second opinions are gold. What's even better than second opinions is people that love their job and have spent their life becoming elite at it. That's what's better. Yeah, that's what's better. I really respect the guys that we got. Yeah, they've just been awesome. We've been super blessed with amazing hepatic artery. Could be. I have forgotten more than I will ever know about this. It's just crazy how much you learn going through this process. I agree. The new deals and everyone and their brother is now a real estate syndicator. Yeah, tell me about it. That is one of the big reasons why I hold a lot of cash. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I've been offered to become a syndicator and I'm like, nope, not interested. If I lose, I want to be the only one who loses when I lose because I made the wrong decision, made the wrong move, whatever. It's the fear of something getting me that I don't know what could get me that makes me not want to be a syndicator. I'll just take the risk myself. It's just me. Just me. Dion. Let's check him out. I'm literally going to go to his channel right now. This is horrible TV, but sorry, I gotta see. Dion's like, there we go. Oh, he finished it. Was it his? Oh, there, I see it. The best interest rates. Apparently, I bored him. Yeah, he finished. It was 4.5 minutes. Dion's the man. We're gonna get together soon. He was supposed to come out before, but then we got quarantined, so we couldn't do it. But yeah, I'm excited to shake Dion's hand. That's awesome. I love that guy. He's the best. Only thing I remember about the arteries are that they're named femoral artery, carotid artery, etc. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember them all either, but Chester Williams, you should have a nice payout on the property should you decide to sell the Bethesda property. Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, that's a crazy hot market for sure. Send Dion a text to hold on until yours is over so we can all join his. His is already over. He was just doing like a 5-minute, like, hey, check out what financial freedom is. I think anyway, it looks like it ended. Yeah, 4 minutes and 50 seconds. Scheduled for 1:22. Yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I said I go to 1:30 anyway, so it's totally fine. We tease each other all the time because obviously we like check in with each other. But yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I had a blast with you guys here today. It was so much fun. Thanks for spending some of my Easter with me. I'm going to go spend some time with my family. RE3, thanks for chiming in so much. I appreciate you. You sound like you got it going on. You got a lot of cool things. Would love to have you continue to attend. Everybody continue to attend, but it's Mika talking on, the house hack and cash on cash returns and obviously all of it, Chester ads and Don and Chris Miller and all you guys. I really appreciate it week to week. Janet Santiago, the whole crew, really appreciate you guys coming in, hanging out. Pallavi, all you guys. So thanks for coming, hanging out with me. I hope you guys have a great Easter. And like I said, keep your eyes open for the real estate broker agent selection video from an elite real estate guy who teaches agents. That's why I went after him so hard, is because he's teaching agents. I had a couple bones to pick with him, but he did some great things, shared some great intel. And with some of the things that I shared, he was like, yeah, like I wouldn't use that broker. So it's really good stuff. So you guys have a great week. Cassidy, happy Easter to you. Shire, happy Easter to you. Chester, thank you. You're welcome. Pallavi, thank you, Lumberjack. For you, the family, happy Easter. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. God bless. Take care. Have a great rest of your week. And like I said, keep your eyes open. I got a couple of videos with Dion hitting the channels this week, and then also that amazing elite broker. It's going to be awesome. RE3, thanks. Happy Easter. Appreciate you. I love you. Appreciate all you that you added today. It makes the host job easy when you guys give me a bunch of great content to cover. So appreciate that. Yeah, love the knowledge sharing. That's what we're all here for, to do this, to share with each other and try to avoid mistakes where we can. I have really no interest in seeing somebody lose unless they tried to make me lose too. So I like helping people win. So Rich Boudreaux, I was teasing Rich. So glad you're back. Bye guys. Have a great week. Take care.